Today, I want to talk about a clause that shows up in almost every residential real estate contract in Alberta. It's called the entire agreement clause, and it can have a huge impact on your rights as a buyer or seller. What is the entire agreement clause? In Alberta's standard real estate purchase contract, the clause basically says this: everything the buyer and the seller are agreeing to, it's contained in the written contract, nothing more. So what does that actually mean? It means that any statement, promise, or reassurance that doesn't make it into the written contract is not legally binding. For example, if the seller tells you the flooring was replaced 2 years ago, or the appliances are practically brand new, or the footage is larger than it actually is, none of that matters unless it is written directly into the contract. Even if it was in the MLS listing or mentioned during a showing, the entire agreement clause shields the seller and often the realtors from liability. Courts in Alberta consistently uphold this clause. Why? Because it gives clarity and certainty. It tells the court, only look at the contract, don't look at the side conversations. It also acts as an acknowledgement by both parties that they are not relying on any outside representations, and if something isn't included as a warranty or representation in writing, then it wasn't part of the deal. There is one situation where the clause can't protect a seller or a realtor: fraudulent misrepresentation. To prove fraud, a buyer must show the following. First, a false statement was made. 2, the person knew it was false or didn't care whether it was true. 3, the false statement convinced the buyer to enter the contract. And 4, the buyer actually suffered a loss. But here's the catch: fraud is extremely hard to prove. You need compelling, persuasive evidence. Courts treat fraud as a very serious allegation, and in real estate, proving a loss is especially difficult because buyers pay a lump sum price for the property as a whole, and not for individual components like flooring, square footage, or appliance condition. If it matters, it must be written into the contract. Some final thoughts. Buying a home is exciting, but it's also complex. And the entire agreement clause is one of those most powerful and most misunderstood parts of any real estate deal. So protect yourself and get every important detail in writing. Don't rely on oral promises. And if you think fraud may be involved, get legal advice immediately. If you're unsure about anything in your purchase contract, talk to an experienced real estate lawyer before you sign. I'm Fernando. Thanks for watching. Feel free to reach out with any questions about your real estate transaction.